Welcome to Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N, the first and only place to come to for movie reviews live at the cinema. It's been a while, but we're back, and we're back for Captain Marvel. We're going to come to Daryl first. What did you think of the film? First impressions.
I feel like there was a lot riding on this film. The way it ended, as in how Infinity War ended, you know, how Fury was like using the pager and stuff. Yeah. So it was kind of like everyone's like, oh, who is this person? Why is this all right? So there was a lot riding on this film in terms of what the next story arc might be, and was it successful in being a good film? Yes and no. To be fair, it's nowhere near as bad as these reviews, Rotten Tomatoes, all these sort of people like saying, oh, this, that, feminist, this, blah, 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 this woman stuff. It is a decent movie. I just feel like I wasn't particularly a fan of the lead role. I thought her acting was flat. But as far as the movie is concerned, I was actually more interested with Nick Fury's background rather than hers, to be honest, because his character to me was a bit more engaging, more appealing to me. So
could you argue, I mean, maybe you were more interested in Nick Fury's role because obviously you have a history with that character. You've seen him in so many different films, hence what makes these Marvel films special. You get these crossovers because they build characters that you know, and eventually they go, oh, these established characters, let's put them together. So now you're watching this film which has no one that you know except for Nick Fury and Agent Coulson. And that's why maybe you're going, actually I was more interested about Nick Fury, and that's the magic of these crossover events.
I understand the route they took this way because the character itself is not particularly that appealing. Because from what I understand, in the comic book world, right, she's been rebooted 5 times in the past 7 years. So she's obviously not connecting with fans the way they want her to, and she's not particularly a liked character in Marvel anyway. So I'm trying to understand what forced them to go, no, we need to push Captain Marvel, we need people to like her.
Did they do that? Because did they force it? Thing is, what I will say is, Captain Marvel, as much as you want to say she's not very liked or whatever, maybe you want to call her the John Cena of the Marvel comics, because she is a big deal. You have to remember, Civil War Part 2, it was her, not Captain America, it was her against Tony Stark. Like, she is a big deal in the comics. In terms of, we got to make sure we push her out, you have to also remember she is a very powerful character, and when you get a character like that, where are you going to put them in the film? I know, against Thanos maybe. Like, Thanos is the biggest bad that we've ever had. Marvel now are sitting there going, right, which one of our characters will be good for a story against him? So maybe they did force it, but for good reason. I mean, we're going to see anyway. We're going to see if it was for good reason. But it's not like they just did this for no... They didn't think about it and they went, you know what, let's just get a random character. Clearly they didn't do that.
I feel like there is some sort of political agenda to why she's in the middle of those both films. But I'm not going to go into that.
So what's the political agenda?
We're going to hold that first.
Yeah, we can hold that. We can hold that. It's first impressions.
So Ben, I'll get your first impressions and then we'll go into what we liked about it.
It was a good film. Like, obviously I don't know like much about the comic side of it, so I'm walking into this film as in like I've just watched Infinity War. We saw the post credits with he's called upon Captain Marvel. Yeah, so obviously I'm like, alright, cool, this woman must be a big deal. And yeah, obviously she looks strong, she looks powerful, she looks the deal, but her taijutsu's a bit whack. That's the only thing. Like, I mean, we saw Thanos, we saw him giving him the Rock Lee, you know, yeah, and she can't even beat up Jude Law. Like, she couldn't beat him up, so you know, I'm not.
I thought it was quite good at the end how he was saying, like, come on, put your powers to the side, do it, come on. And then she was like, bang.
But the thing is, I was like, what? So she knows she can't beat him up, like, so she's like.
Well, okay, but if you had those powers and there's your enemy there and he's going, okay, let's not use our powers then and let's fight. What we're gonna do? I'm gonna be like, no, I have them though.
You know, like with films, they're like no knives, no weapons. They start going taking off their knives and swords.
Who does that in real life?
There are films that happen.
Yeah, but who does that in real life?
It's not real life. I'm just saying though, like, you know. It's like I don't have to prove a point to you. It's
exactly.
Like,
she doesn't.
Yes, she does. She's been getting beat up by him for ages.
The rules of what men have to do.
Hey, she doesn't have to prove anything to anyone.
Let's get into what we liked about the film.
Okay.
One thing that I liked about the film And also who I thought was my MVP was, what's the name of the Kree general? No, sorry, the Skrull general. I thought he was really funny in the film. I thought he was a really good character, and even through all the makeup and stuff, you could see like his acting performances, his charisma. So I really enjoyed him.
He was definitely the funniest character in the film. Like, I can't lie, that he's definitely the funniest character.
I was expecting, like, you know, these alien races, they normally are quite,
Like wooden.
yeah, like from their own world, they have a certain way of how they communicate, and he was very human-like in a sense, you know, the way he was talking to people, and I found, I don't know, I don't know if that's how Skrull people are or whatever.
Yeah, speaking of which, they had a lot of nice Stan Lee nods in there as well. Even the intro, he was.
That was a sick
He
intro.
was on a bus as well. What about you, Ben? What else did you enjoy?
You know what? It's kind of a thing where I liked it. Like, I loved it at points, but then there was points like, like for instance, the humor. Like you said, there was the high points with the humor. It's like, I was laughing out loud. But then there was points where I was like, that's kind of forced, kind of cringy. Like some parts, I was like, that's cringe. Like,
Is there an example?
There was a part where I said, cringe.
Oh, which?
But obviously I can't remember it. But there were points where it was very forced.
Just I don't know if anyone knows, but on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, there was all these trolls and people were just saying like, do you know what? It had an agenda. It had this, and then you go, which part? And then they go, I don't know.
But
so I don't know, man. I don't know if that actually happens.
Is that part of things? Well, we're talking about things we like and stuff like that. So, I mean, for me, I think I'm trying to think of the things I like. Raw.
I did like the eye patch origin. I was like, eye patch origin. Okay, that's where he got it.
They're like throwing hints of when Nick Fury's gonna lose his eye. Like I think there was the first bit where I think he gets hit like in the car accident, and then so they do these little bits, and then I thought, okay, that's how he got his thing. I think it was a bit silly how he got it, but fine, whatever.
Hold on, the alien that did it is one of the most dangerous aliens in all of existence. I think that was very fitting. Yeah, do you know what? To be fair, what I liked about the film, so everyone's read all these different things about the film and whatnot, like I won't get into all them stuff, but me personally, what I liked about the film, first of all, it's Marvel's first headlining female lead in a superhero, right? We've been needing that for a while. DC tried to do it with Wonder Woman, and obviously it's a bit boring, but when they did it with Captain Marvel, right? One thing I liked about it is that they didn't try and throw it in your face. They just made a film and went, what, is she female? Well, we just made a film about a character, and that's what I think.
They didn't throw anything in your face, is that what you're saying? As in like Okay, I put it this way. I think there were some occasions where when she was having these flashbacks, she kept being told by men, you're nothing, you're not worth blah blah blah. I don't know if you missed that. I'm not finished yet, right? And then the bit where she's sitting on the little porch going, you guys miss me, and then they're like going, let's beat her up, and then they start singing, I'm just a girl. No, bruv, come on. It's like playing that shit. What is that song? Yeah, but it's obvious, but you know. Even the wording, I'm just a girl. You're telling me you're not getting that.
So now let me counter what you've just said, right? No, because this is really important to me. Check this out, right? So this is the problem with society. People like you, listen, because you're sitting there going, and then there was a man saying, you can't do this, you can't do this. The thing is, you didn't even notice there were women there as well putting her down. But you only noticed when it was the man. So now you're the one who's trying to make out that it was pushing an agenda. And just to close that off, my sort of counter to that, as I said, just to clarify, was where you was going, there was the men putting her down, men putting her down. It wasn't even anything to do with that. That moment was not about the people putting her down. That moment was about her getting up. Her getting up. It's nothing to do with.
She's sitting down and there's a guy going, hey baby, how about you get on my ride, blah blah blah. Come on, whatever, man.
Yeah, one thing I liked about the film as well, I don't know, does anyone here watch Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N? So I've seen like 5 years worth of history of Agent Coulson. So it was so sick to see him on the big screen again, man. I just have to give a shout out to Clark Gregg.
But since you were struggling to talk about things that you did like about the film, what didn't you like about the film?
I think what I didn't like the film, I think the film was, it had a very weak first act, and I think the second act was a bit, but then it picked up on the third act. I think the third act really showed the potential and power of this character. And I think she's a bit too OP, if I'm honest. But I understand that she took off this limiter thing or something. So, you know, I guess now, Thanos is dead because she can warp speed, she do all these things and stuff. You know, go women and stuff. I didn't like the main character. I think her acting was quite flat. Her voice was very annoying because it was like super high pitch. It was just like.
I think you just don't like her. I don't think there was anything wrong with her voice.
No. I generally can someone tell me like her voice was generally annoying. And then what was wrong with her run? She kept running like some. She's just
like Rihanna in the Ponder Replay video. That's how she was running. Is that what?
That's a mad reference.
The fight scenes were poor. Like they were.
Remember the
poor.
opening one where she was training against
Mate,
Jude Law. It's a bit like Iron Fist. You know, remember Iron Fist season 1?
Well, they said she trained. They said she trained for 9 months. She did kickboxing and jiu-jitsu or something. The actress itself. Yeah. So maybe she didn't have enough time. I don't know. But I let her off in the beginning because I thought maybe she's just learning or something. She was training.
The ones in the beginning were horrible.
Yeah, I mean even the bits when she had the blockers on her arms. Very poor choreography. And in some cases the camera was like skipping all over the place while she was fighting. I could not see what was going on.
Can it be argued that it wasn't poor choreography, but in fact that she isn't the best hand-to-hand combatant? Like we know that she's not a Captain America. She didn't study 1,000 martial arts. She is OP, as you said, and that's why even at the end when Jude Law was like, "Come on, forget it. No powers, no lighting up. Let's just fight," and she was like, "Nah, psh." Because why would you? She doesn't know how to fight. So maybe she is just a bit whack at fighting.
You know the bit where she could choose her colours? Yeah. I thought, why would a suit let you do that? Like you would just have a suit of what it is. Like, why would it let you do any of that?
I said that when it happened. I went, "Why is that in the suit anyway?"
What about you, Ed?
What didn't I like about the film? Alright, check this out, right? What I didn't like about the film is throughout a lot of the film, despite the fact that I'm looking at it as building blocks, I'm also, for a while watching it, thinking, I feel like there's just bare building up. You know, like in Marvel films, they got a formula. Usually it starts with an action scene. Then they do plot building, big action scene, plot building, big action scene, right? And then climax. This film, I thought there was just bare plot building and not enough payoff throughout the film. So.
Me personally, I don't think there was anything I really hated about the film. There was just a few things that I thought, why did they do this or do that? For example, when they got to the laboratory in orbit, she done something to uncloak it from being in stealth mode. When they went inside, why didn't she just put the stealth mode back on, and then they wouldn't be able to find it? And another thing as well is obviously we saw Ronan the Accuser again, and she had the opportunity to kill him, and then she chose to let him go. I thought that she would have just killed him where he stood.
Yeah, she could have murked him easy.
She could have, but she's a hero, isn't she?
But she killed all his brethren, bust up the ship.
Yeah.
You know this Ronan.
They were attacking.
But so was he. With that decision, in Guardians of the Galaxy, so many people died because of Ronan. So
That blood is on her hands.
on her hands.
That blood is on her hands. So after our discussion, we're going to get into our scores of the film. I think I'll go first, just to switch up a little bit.
Haven't seen that before.
I will give this film out of 10, I'll give it a 7.5. I think that's a reflective score. There was nothing I really hated about the film. I enjoyed it for the most part. Solid film, there's nothing I really hated. So 7.5 from me.
Okay. For me, that gets a 7 out of 10. It was nice. It built the blocks for what she's going to do and what she can do. But I don't think I'd watch it again.
Alright then, Ben, how would you score this film?
I'm going to have to agree with Ed on this one. I'm going to say a 7 out of 10. I felt like this was the halloumi sticks to my endgame, main. This was the starter. I mean, the visuals were flat out points, but then it did have its high points. I felt like I don't really know her as a character, and that should be like that film should have done that for me. So 7 out of 10.
Daryl, how would you score this film?
Like Ed said, I enjoyed the film per se. I wouldn't watch it again. I didn't like the main character clearly, and I just feel like the film was very weak, like I said, but the end really picked up, and I think that if the end didn't pick up, my score would have been extremely low, because throughout the whole film I was just like, why am I watching this?
Wow.
Right? So with that respect, I'll give this film a 6.5 because like I said, I think if she's showcasing this film, she's supposed to be the highlight of this film.
Okay.
I'm expecting really quality acting or decent acting at that. And I feel like it was just the most
She's
bland.
an Oscar winner as well.
What she what's she wrong?
She was an Oscar winner. I
Was she-
can't remember what film it was, but she's an Oscar winner though.
Retract that, please. Take that, or I need to see that film.
Okay, so thank you for watching our review. We've been the Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N. Our average score will be hovering somewhere right here. And as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until the next video, peace.